For a while now, global business headlines have been dominated by one theme: artificial intelligence, which is not surprising. We've seen government and big corporations trying to be part of the AI boom. This week, two headlines caught my attention. First one, Taiwan pledges $250 billion in US spending in exchange for lower tariffs. And the second, Amazon shares sink as company boosts AI spending by nearly 60%. On the surface, this looks like events happening outside of the African continent, which is true. The US and Amazon in North America, and Taiwan and Ireland in Asia. So why does this matter? In this episode of What Does This Mean for Africa, I'll share with you why. To give a bit of background, the US and Taiwan signed a trade agreement to boost American production of semiconductors. And this is in line with the current administration's goal of bringing critical industries to the US. And we've seen the current administration sign similar deals like the one that was signed last year with SoftBank. Now, under this particular agreement, the TSMC, which is a Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company, would expand in the US, price tag a hefty $250 billion in investment. In exchange, the Taiwan would get a reduction in its tariffs on goods from 20% to 15%, and it gets exemption on the manufacturing of these chips. Last year, we're looking at a US-Taiwan trade deficit of about $126 billion, up from $73.7 billion. So looking at the volume of trade, a 5% reduction is significant. So kind of like a win-win for both parties. At least it seems like that from the surface. On the other hand, we've also seen big tech companies investing billions to boost their AI infrastructure. We've seen firms like Google and Meta, Amazon do this. Shareholders of some of these firms have responded positively. However, others haven't. For instance, Google and Meta have seen their shareholders respond positively to news that the company was going to boost their capital expenditure directed towards boosting their AI infrastructure. Shareholders of Amazon, not quite much. They responded negatively to this news when the company said that it was going to increase capital spending by $200 billion in 2026. Now, we've seen Microsoft and Alphabet, which is Google's parent company, and Amazon together pull about $700 billion and deciding they're going to spend this amount in 2026, all directed towards capital expenditure. And this is bigger. This amount is bigger. These three companies put together is bigger. The amount put together is bigger than the spending budget of some of the big economies in the world. Matter of fact, no African country has a spending budget closer to this amount. So what does this mean for Africa? Africa may not be able to lead the AI infrastructure race. However, it can be able to be at the forefront of the AI application race. What do I mean by this? This is literally leveraging on these infrastructure to build applications and building that technology capability, which is very essential. But to be able to do this, African countries need to be able to develop the technical talent and leverage on this, to be able to leverage on these technologies, really building that innovative ecosystem to thrive on these technologies these frameworks that have been built or infrastructure that has been built. So the first thing African countries need to do is that African countries need to position themselves as a new supply chain hub for manufacturing, for logistics, for really processing critical minerals that are needed in the manufacturing of chips and all these things that are being manufactured. We have the population to do that, and we can do it very cheaply. Second thing is African countries need to be able to strengthen the partnerships, intra-trade partnerships. We have seen the partnerships like the ACFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Agreements, and also really work to reduce bottlenecks with these international trade agreements like AGOA. For entrepreneurs building in Africa, we need to be able to think globally, even if we operate locally, and be able to invest in technology. We need to build a business or build businesses that plug into this digital infrastructure that's been built globally. Thank you for listening to this episode for today. Would love to hear your thoughts. And one last thing, hit the subscribe button now and share with a friend to listen. Catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.